Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, everybody. Today we're interviewing Peter Testa. He's a full-time realtor and top producer in nationwide homes in Bethel, Connecticut. He serves home buyers and sellers across the state, and Peter specializes in residential pre-foreclosure, also known as short sales, and bank-owned foreclosure properties. So welcome, Peter, and thank you very much for being here today.
Oh, thank you, Eric. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Before we jump in, can you tell us a bit more about your business and yourself?
Oh, sure. Well, I'm a full-time agent. I've been selling real estate since 2004, so for about 12 years now. I started out with Century 21 in Danbury, Connecticut. Worked there for a few years and been with Nationwide Homes in Bethel since 2008. I work and live in Fairfield County, Connecticut, married with 2 children. Prior to doing this, I was in the corporate banking field for about 13 years, which is pretty good because it brings me another perspective on the short sale work that I do.
What led you into this? I mean, is this something you always wanted to do, or is this something you stumbled into?
Well, I've always loved real estate. Before even becoming a realtor, I sit there and watch all the shows on HGTV, and I love looking at homes when we were away on vacation. So, I could tell the interest was there, and it definitely helps to have a passion for architecture, homes, and enjoying that sort of thing. So, it was pretty much a natural choice for me. I had wanted to branch out to a different kind of career where I can use a lot of different skill sets. I enjoyed, working with the marketing part of websites and social media that we put our listings on. Allows me to work in the house, but still be out meeting with clients and meeting with the public, getting a little bit of everything. You're never really bored in this field. I enjoy going out, taking the photographs. It's always a good challenge to try to get the best shots, the best weather and lighting, and sometimes requiring some staging, moving furniture around, things like that. That will it helps out the listing because the photos are just going to shoot better. So all those type of tasks that we do during the day, it's enjoyable to me, regardless of what I'm doing, and it's varied. So it really gives me a lot of satisfaction.
Nice. It's always good to love what we do, right?
Sure.
On that note, what personal attributes or traits or qualities contribute the most, you think, to your success, and how do you think you developed those along the years?
Well, I spent a lot of time working to get to where we're at in this real estate business now, and a lot of it is determination, and the type of transactions I work on, short sale transactions in particular, can be really challenging. We do a number of those. At least half the portfolio is probably in short sales, and you have to have a lot of determination with those. I have a loyalty to my clients, situations that they're in. They definitely need somebody that when a problem comes up, will tackle the problem, hopefully know how to do that, and get some resolution for them, because the other options aren't really good. So I would say my determination, my loyalty to my clients, keep me going even in the face of the challenges that can come up.
And can you give some examples of that, how it played a role towards your success?
Absolutely. We've done a lot of different short sales with different banks. I've worked with all the major banks and some smaller ones. And I'll tell you, I always say there's a piece missing sometimes in a short sale, and it's either maybe your seller's not the best at providing you what you need, or your bank isn't as responsive as you'd like. Maybe it's the buyer. And I'll be honest with you, I've had to do deals over 3, 4, and have met many as 7 times. I've had to go through 7 buyers to get a short sale sold sometimes. A lot of times the buyers don't understand why, it's as is. why it's priced the way it is. It's a really good value and attractive. But occasionally they can become dismayed after they, if you have them go in and they say they want to do an inspection, they say, well, go right ahead, go up front, take a look at it. So before we even really spend 2 or 3 months working on this, a lot of times people will come in and they'll go right back out. But they thought it was a good deal. They'll find out there's some costs that they weren't they weren't as into. Sometimes it happens later in the deal, and it's not always on the first shot. But that's the goal. But buyers will walk on deals, and you'll have approvals, and I've had approvals, and for a short sale, and had a buyer walk away on the deal, and then happen again and again. And you can't really let that discourage you. You can't let it sour you on the house or anything else, because ultimately, in the end, those properties did sell. It was just a matter of sticking with the plan and not letting the obstacles discourage you.
That's a nice bridge to where I like to go at this point, which is to talk about some of the adversities that you faced on your way to your success, you being successful, and how you managed to keep going, despite these obstacles that sometimes might have seemed like they were you couldn't get away, couldn't get around them. So how do you keep going when you get there, and what kind of adversities on top of what you just mentioned did you face in your life so far?
Well, I think about some of the more daunting challenges were in the beginning, starting out and not having all the answers, and trying to make sure that you do the right thing by your client, and essentially trying to learn the business quicker than you possibly can even learn it to get up to speed where you need to be. I remember in the beginning spending many long nights trying to catch up on my marketing, while during the day I was running around with buyers, putting together presentations, and you try to stay as busy as you can. But in the beginning, there's a learning curve you need to get past, and your fellow agents, your broker, most definitely, all have that experience over you. So I was willing to listen to what they had to say. And a lot of the reasons why I do kind of work that I do today with the short sales and the foreclosures was from working with really good people in the past that I learned from. When I think back on the first short sale that I took on, going back over 10 years ago, you really don't know what you're supposed to be doing on that when you first start out. And I had a very good mentor who walked me through the process. But then from there, it was all experience and continuing to learn on your own. Sometimes they're making mistakes, but in the end, I always made sure that if there was anything did not go right, that we always got it fixed. Because ultimately, you got to sell these houses. And people are facing foreclosure, and in my state, they'll actually come after you for their loss. So there'd be a deficiency judgment in court. And they really want to avoid that. Not all of these folks can or should do a bankruptcy to get out of a foreclosure so that they don't have to pay that debt. A lot of them really don't have to get that involved if they could just get the short sale done. So when I see a short sale that's has been sitting a while, people look like they've given up, I might give them a call and say, are you still looking to do it? Because sometimes it's just a fresh approach and somebody that's just seen whatever their issue might have been, whether it be with the valuation on the property that didn't work out, or maybe they had a buyer who walked on them, or a short sale that took too long. At this point now, I feel confident that whatever the problem was that came up, I probably have seen it in some form or another, and hopefully you bring that to the table and use it to help them out of a situation. Nice,
interesting. Now, looking forward, what do you think? What's your vision about your business in the next 5 years or so?
Well, my company is great in the sense that it offers us the ability to build a team around ourselves, and there's a sharing percentage that we get when we bring someone in, and that person is also actually compensated pretty well. It's a pretty good commission rate, and so what we do is I can actually transfer the knowledge, have people assist me with some tasks that somebody starting in the industry might want to do, something like an open house, or perhaps, showing a listing that we have, people that call in, raw leads, something like that, or just talking about, what would help get something, get a deal made on a certain property, what I might think is missing. So, we'll sit around and we'll talk to the other agents. We'll get together, different times of the year for some social gathering. And it's definitely all about the future being about having people that I bring along with me, transferring that knowledge over to them, building other good realtors who in turn to help me sell my properties.
I see. And how do you see this happening in terms of how are you going to market yourself to get there?
I think we're using a variety of different online tools. We basically put any listing that we get on close to 35 sites, which spider out into about 100 plus sites. So I always say to someone, your listing is going to be on every website. If you find a website that's not on, let me know and I'll get you on it. That's just something I started doing at the beginning of the of working in real estate. I worked for one of the larger name corporation real estate companies, and I said to myself, we're only on 2 websites, and people could really find us a lot better. So I just started manually signing up for all these different sites, and I ended up with a nice marketing program, because I can now say, hey, you're going to be on all of these sites, and online is really where people are finding homes nowadays. So and it gives you a chance to put a nice layout out of pictures and remarks and a nice presentation that people can find anywhere. And even some, I always say there's a few sites that are really great, and then there's a few that it's just another site to be on. We may not get a lot of leads from it, but I do like to have us on everything, because once in a while I do get a surprise and a website I haven't heard from in a year, so something pops up from it. But yeah, we use the web for the listings. We're definitely into social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We blog on. I use Active Rain, which is a popular real estate blogging site. A lot of times it's listings. I don't always have an article I want to write, but I definitely use it because it has really good search capabilities to find your listings online through that site. So I make sure we do a layout on there, and all sorts of connecting one site to the other. Maybe I have a widget on one website, and it's a rolling widget of all our listings, and you can click on it, and just like all of our listings, it should always go back to our web page. So it brings us back to our website where we capture these leads, and then they can just click on the contact me and get in touch with us about that listing or whatever they need.
Nice. Well, that's pretty exhaustive. That's great. Can you talk a bit about the misconceptions out there that you see about working with a realtor? What would be the biggest one that people have about it?
I guess there's all sorts of misconceptions, and unless you walk in somebody's shoes, it's kind of hard to really say what they're doing. I always joke around and about realtors and say you never really know where we are. We're picking up our phones, but where is he really? My friends probably think I'm out at some restaurant bar, hanging out, having a long lunch, which is usually not the case. My mom probably thinks that I'm in a board meeting someplace. And then the public in general, I think they may think that the profession may be easier than it actually is. And I speak to a lot of people starting out who are very bright and excited, and I think that's exactly the kind of attributes you need. But you've got to be realistic that it's going to take some lead time. I mean, it took about 6 months, I'd say, before things started really picking up when I got involved into in the field. So, if you just have some realistic expectations and you plan accordingly, it should be all right.
Okay. Let's hypothetically, let's assume a family member that lives on the other side of the country was thinking about selling their home. What type of advice would you give him how they should go about selling their home and what should they do or look for?
Well, if I wasn't familiar with the agents in the area, even when I go to refer a client of mine, is just, can you refer me out to this area where I'm not working, where you're not work. The first thing I would do is the same thing I would tell them to do is go online, do your research. Most every top agent's going to have a strong online presence. And if you're looking for a seller's agent, look for someone who has a lot of listings. When you meet with them, ask them to bring their sales, and hopefully they'll bring you at least a year's worth of sales to show you that they've been consistently busy. Because you want somebody who's doing this full time so that they'll be responsible and responsive. You want somebody who has a nice presence when people find the listings and them online. So I would start by doing your research online and just searching a keyword like Danbury, Connecticut Realtors and seeing who comes up. In fact, I often do that myself with my business to make sure that I am on the first 8-10 pages of Google. Hopefully my name's popping up everywhere. And that's kind of like a check for me. And so if somebody did that check on me, they'd see that we're out there and we gain the exposure. And then, again, you just want to back it up with sales. People say local as well. I think it's not number one thing, but I think it's important. But, you can't have somebody. I have sold properties in the middle of Connecticut that are an hour from me. And if you put a nice presentation out there and you price it right, it shouldn't really make much of a difference if you're local or not. But people do look at that as well.
Of course. Well, that's great advice. To wrap up, do you have one piece of advice for our listeners that want to enter into the realtor business and want to be successful at it?
I'd say listen to what your clients are saying more than actually speaking and giving them the advice, because you really want to find out what it is they need and draw the most direct point to that. So, give advice where you need to, but listen and try to take the extra steps to get the results. I see it every day in my business where something just isn't clean cut. It isn't laid out nice for you. And you may have to call some attorneys up. You may have to research something you never heard of before to understand it. Somebody did a 1038 exchange. First time I've seen it in all the years I've been doing this. And I had to look into what it was. They're bringing an offer on a property. So we talked to an attorney, looked it up online, got a good feel for what it was so we could advise our clients that way. So I definitely don't want to quit. You want to continue to keep going till you get the results, and don't let failure stop you. Let it drive you to harder to succeed. It'll make you tougher, and you will come out in the end stronger for it.
Excellent advice. That was inspiring. So,
thank you.
How can our listeners learn more or get in touch with you?
I'm pretty easy to reach. You can call or email me. My cell phone is on all our advertising, so you can even text me. My number is 203-442-3873. You can email me. I have a simple email address. It's petertesta@yahoo.com. You can always find us on our website, petertesta.com, or on our Facebook page, Connecticut Realtors. Any of those ways, you could easily send us a message, give us a ring, and we'd love to talk with you about your property.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Peter, for sharing all this with us. This was extremely interesting. I like your energy. This is awesome. So thanks again very, very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Good speaking with you too, Eric. Thank you again.
Thanks, Peter. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.